Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Welcome back to the Bullet Point Podcast at the Bulletproof Table with Bulletproof Discussions. And today, me and Patrick are going to be talking about school and relationships and how they build off of each other.
Yes.
So, me and Patrick are both seniors in high school at an art school.
That is correct.
Our class is not that big. How many kids do you have in your class?
You know, if I had to estimate, probably like 26 times 4. So like 100. Like 100.
Like 100.
Yeah, there's like 100.
That's a good answer.
Just about.
So
maybe
yeah.
even less, like 94.
So yeah, we go to a small high school.
Small school. Like smaller than like what's I don't know. It's really small.
Yeah, it's super small. But anyways, I just was wondering, Patrick, if you want to get started with the discussion today on things like struggles and difficulties. What do you think are some struggles that you had your high school year, right now, senior year? And what do you think you've done to overcome those difficulties? Yeah,
I mean, school for me has always, you know, I'm very fortunate to have a mindset that, you know, I am motivated and I do enjoy school. I know a lot of people do not enjoy school, but I do enjoy school. You know, yeah. I've always loved to learn, and I try to take every opportunity I can get to learn, and school is a great opportunity to learn. And so, you know, I have a very positive mindset, and I try to apply that to all areas of my life. And so I enjoy school. I know a lot of people do struggle with it, though. You know, for me, one of the struggles I've had this year is motivation for school, especially, you know, looking towards my future and trying to figure out what I'm going to do. You know, I'm leaning more towards not going to a 4-year college. You know, I'm pretty positive I'm not going to go to a 4-year college right away. And so that sort of makes me unmotivated to continue to try to do well in high school, because I know that I don't necessarily need to. You know, I don't need the grades to get into other schools. I don't need them for, you know, scholarships, whatever. So I think motivation has been one of the hardest things for me this year pertaining to school.
Yeah. I think another thing, of course, is for me also motivation. I think normally a constant difficulty and struggle that I've had throughout not only my senior year but other years as well is, for me, I'm not the best at math. My specific subject that I'm not that good with
calculus.
is math. I am in.
That is a difficult class.
I am in AP calculus,
it is
and
a hard
it is.
Class, I'm not gonna lie.
Patrick isn't even taking it, and honestly, I don't even blame him.
I don't take
math. I just decided I was thinking about maybe going into an architecture major in a college.
Nice.
And so I was like, maybe calculus could help with that. And now that I realize how miserable I am when I take calculus and I'm in that class, I've kind of decided that I don't want to end with I don't want to end with a major that has a calculus like emphasis in it. So
yeah, and I mean, I think that is definitely tough in school. You know, you have to take required classes for sure, and it is hard if you're taking classes that you don't really enjoy.
Yeah.
So I'd encourage you, if you are still in high school, or even still in college, still in school in general, and you have the choice to choose your classes, I would choose classes that you enjoy.
Yeah,
you know, so
absolutely.
I mean, you'll most likely in high school, especially for me as a senior, I had a really flexible schedule, and I chose that for a reason. You know, I only take 5 classes this year, and I start at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I usually have school for like 4 hours each day, which is amazing. Like Wednesday, I start at 11:30 because we have a late day, which is amazing. And I still show up late to class. Sam will tell you all about that. I run to class, and my teacher literally roots for me to get there on time.
Yeah, we'll watch out the window sometimes for you.
Sometimes I make it. Sometimes I don't.
We root for it.
They cheer for me. They do.
Yeah, you get big rounds of applauses.
It's fun
in the class.
But yeah, I mean, just like take classes that you enjoy. You know, you only get to go through high school once, and you don't want to look back on that experience as, you know, dreadful and a time that you hated. You know, take classes if you. That's funny. For those of you who cannot see, our technical director just fell out of a chair.
A
chair and knocked over our lights.
All right.
I think we're good. Yeah, but anyway, I mean, you only get to go through high school once. That was really funny. And you know, don't stress yourself out too much over, you know, just remember that it's not the most important thing that you'll do in your life. You know, there's so many more important things than high school. You know, don't let that discourage you and make you not try. You know, you should try and you know, be motivated to do well and succeed in everything that you do. But don't, you know, I see so many people at our school, especially, that stress themselves out so much if they don't have the grades that they want or that their parents want. And it's really hard. You know, a lot of people have a lot of struggles with school, and their mental health is going down because of that. And so, really take care of yourself. And
Yeah.
Instead of taking 7 classes, take 5 if you can. Sleep in a little bit, or get out earlier. Do what you want to do. But yeah, I mean, that's what I would say. Just take classes that you want to take if you have the opportunity to choose.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, in college, you pick your classes based on like the majors that you wanna pursue and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, everybody should go for a job that they're interested in or something that they enjoy doing. I mean, there's no point in living your life in this career that you hate if you're like whether you have
Exactly.
whether it pays you really well, whether it pays you really bad. I think that everybody can agree that it's always better to work in an environment that you're comfortable in, that you have fun in. And so I think, like you said, just work towards classes and stuff like that. That'll get you the career that you really want.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, I talk about this with people all the time, and I'm so passionate about, following your dreams, because I see so many people in society today. They go and, especially as teenagers in high school, we're told that we have to do well in school so we can get into a good school, and so that we can, get a good job that gives us good money so we can support our family, blah, blah, blah. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. But it's like, it's a terrible idea to think that way, because especially in 2019 today, there's so many opportunities for us out there. We've talked about the internet. We've talked about how the internet provides so many opportunities for, all of us to succeed and to do well. Social media gives so many opportunities for us to expand and network with people. And so, you shouldn't feel like you have to be trapped in this job for your whole life, because if we talked a couple weeks ago about regret, and that's one of my biggest fear in life, that I will have regret at the end of my life. And so you shouldn't go through your life living and doing things that you wouldn't want to do and you don't enjoy. You shouldn't do a job for 50 years that you hate, because you're gonna regret it so bad at the end of your life.
It won't be worth it in the end.
No, it's not.
The money,
no amount of money is not going to be worth it.
Anything like that will not be worth it.
Yeah, and I mean, we think that money is going to make us happy. A lot of people search for happiness, and money seems to be an answer to that, but it's truly not. The more money that you get and the more wealthy that you become, you realize that it's not the answer, because you're constantly searching for more, and no matter how much money you get, that's not going to fill your need. It's not going to make you happy. It's not going to give you joy.
Yeah. I think another thing that gives me joy at school is the relationships I built at school, friendships and things like that. All of my friends that I have that I'm like really close with are from school,
Yeah, for
or
sure.
have been from the same school that I go to, and I just think that they're a big part of my life. And so I think that maybe looking for a career that, maybe if you have a lot of friends and you're fine with making more, look for a career that's that includes socializing and stuff like that. And if you're more of a independent person, you like to keep to yourself, maybe work at an office and you can do work at home or something like that. Just look for things that help you be more happy with what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's going to be different for everybody. Myself, the type of job that I would want to do is probably different from the type of job that you would want to do, or the type of job that Sam would want to do.
Yeah.
And you have to find what works for you. But yeah, I mean, going off the idea of relationships, friendships are so important in life. We desire people to have with us, and it's important to have people to share your memories with, to have fun with, and especially in high school, this is our last year. We're really trying to enjoy it and not lose sight of friendships. We're not trying to get stressed out so much in school, but we're trying to, do fun things together, do passion projects like this podcast. We want to do things that make us happy, and we want to be able to look back on our high school experience and say, we had a good time in high school. If we ever have kids, we want to be able to tell our kids, here's my memories from high school. We don't want to just say, oh, I always studied. Not saying that it's bad to study. You should study and you should work hard, especially if you do want to go to a good school. But you need to make time for friends, and you need to make time for yourself and for your goals and having fun. You need to, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I think that it is really important to have fun and to let loose every once in a while, and have fun with your friends.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think I think the most important thing that I've taken away from my high school experience is the friends that I've made and the people who I can rely on and the people who I can't. I mean, it may sound harsh, but there are some people that say that they'd be there for you and that they're not. But I always know that, like, I'm doing this project with you, and then also our technical director Hondro is here. I mean, Hondro's in college and we're still here in high school, and this project, whenever Hondro's back in town, we can always know that we'll meet up because we have to work on this together. I think that that's really cool, and that's something that you can totally look forward to. I mean, if your friends are going to different colleges or schools around the world, or if you're separating for one way or another, moving or something like that, I mean, whenever you get the chance, call them and check in, and so that you always keep that relationship, so that once they come back, then it's as if they never left. So
yeah, for sure. And I think, having common interests with your friends is, good. Doing things that you enjoy together. With our friend Hondra, we do enjoy skateboarding, and so that's something that we all bond doing, and we can always do that and have fun together. And so having common interests can be a good thing. We enjoy playing video games, and I love beating Sam at Smash Bros. And, he enjoys getting beat by me because he always lets me win. So
yeah, I let you win
every time.
But I mean, I guess we'll see who's really better at Smash Bros. Because in our next podcast, we're gonna have a little Smash Bros. Competition between me and Patrick.
So maybe you guys will have to tune in then and find out who really is the Smash champion.
The Smash champion. And I guess going more off of friends, I know that me and Patrick recently have bonded a lot over our recent trip to the UK. We had a little school trip to
big school trip.
England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and is that it?
Ireland, Scotland, Europe, all of the above.
Yeah. So me and Patrick were good friends for the most part of the trip. But
yeah, Sam and I have known each other since we were 5, I think.
We played
pretty young.
We played soccer together,
yeah.
And then we went to separate schools, so we weren't friends throughout elementary. But then we became friends like back in 6th grade once we went to.
Sam didn't like me at first, but
yeah,
I grew on him.
I actually didn't. Yeah, I didn't like you at all. But now I do like you. So I mean, I guess it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out. Yeah, I mean, we went to Ireland together. We became closer.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about Ireland. I think we should tell them about the Ireland trip.
I mean,
that trip was amazing.
It was probably the best trip I've ever been on.
I agree.
We also became close friends with Hondro again.
Our technical director, Hondro.
Yeah, Hondro was a senior he was a junior in high school, and me and Patrick were both sophomores.
Wow.
And I remember
2 years ago.
I clearly remember like us just talking to Hondro, and we were like, hey, if we can sit on the plane together, like, do you want to? And Hunter was like, I don't know, like, I was sitting with these other people, but we'll see. And then he ended up sitting with us, and we sat on the plane next to each other every single time.
And then we hung out the whole entire trip.
We played cards
poker.
on like everything, and oh my god,
we played poker with our teacher, and he absolutely whooped us because he's the math teacher and he's very smart.
He actually destroyed us.
Yeah, it was terrible.
But yeah, it was so much fun. But yeah, like we literally didn't even know Hondro like at all. Like we knew Hondro.
I played soccer with Hondro as well, so I knew him for a majority of my life, but we weren't really close.
Yeah, me and Hondro played baseball, but like we never really stayed connected. But I mean, just the fact that we came and like we all kind of bonded in like 3 hours, and then we boarded a plane and we stuck next to each other for the rest of the trip. Was
the whole 2
crazy.
Weeks we hung out the whole entire time,
and now we're here making a podcast together.
And now we're here, and honestly, I don't think that we would be here today if it wasn't for that trip.
Oh yeah,
we grew so close in that trip. We made so many memories, and it was such a fun time.
Yeah, that trip was huge.
That's the whole point of this. We should be making memories now. Be trying to make memories. Obviously not everybody's going to be able to go on a trip like that. It is very expensive and it is difficult. But you can make memories where you are now. In your town, you can make memories. Go do fun things. Go to the movies together, the drive-ins. Go watch a sunset or something. I don't know. Go skateboarding, whatever.
Anything.
Surfing if you're near the ocean.
Yeah, be creative with it.
Make memories. Have fun.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is I mean, of course you'll always have like fun times with people, but I mean there will always be like distinct times in your life that you'll like that you'll be able to remember for a really long time. And I think that Europe trip was definitely one of them.
There's so many memories to the Europe trip. There was one time we went to the Supreme store. So we wanted to go to the Supreme store so bad in Europe when we went to London.
Yeah.
And they told us we had 2 hours?
I don't even think I think it was 2
we had
hours.
2 hours free time in London, and we
So-
could only stay on this one block, and the Supreme store was not on that block. We decided to go anyway because we were gonna go.
Yeah,
and
we
so
had
we
to.
sprinted to the Supreme store, and there was this huge line. We're like, okay, we can wait. I think we waited in line for maybe 45 minutes.
45 minutes to like an hour.
Yeah, so we were freaking out. We were like,
Yeah.
okay, you know,
And
we'll
it took
make
us like
It's okay, it's okay.
it took us like 20 minutes to find it too, because we had to go through like a Chinatown and like everything.
crazy.
And it was So we had like a little bit under an hour like left to go once we got to the front of the line.
Yeah, and we made it, and then we went to Supreme, checked it out, got some stuff, and then we left. And then Hondro and our friend Izzy, they went somewhere. I don't know where they. I think they went back, or they went shopping somewhere. I don't know. But Sam and I, we went to Starbucks to get
We were stuck.
We were so fun.
We needed
were
food.
Hungry. We needed food. We needed fuel.
so bad.
We needed fuel, and so we got some food at Starbucks. I think I probably got a coffee because I always have coffee.
Yeah.
And then we sprinted back, and I think were we late? Were we like the last ones?
All I remember is that we were running and we checked our phones, and I clearly remember this. We were like, oh, we got like 5 minutes, and we were probably like 3 minutes away, and we were like, yeah, that's totally enough time to like sit down and eat what we got from Starbucks.
Oh, yeah.
And we sit down outside of this random restaurant,
And then they kicked us out.
And this guy just walks out like the second we sit down, and he's like, you can't be here. It's like you're loitering out, and we were like, oh shoot. And so we like ran, and we were like,
so we sprinted,
and we checked, and
back.
we almost didn't. Yeah, we almost got in like huge trouble, but we made it.
So
and
crazy.
so
And then on the way back, we got lost on the subway. I got lost.
Yeah,
on the subway.
you got lost in the subway.
So
That was
our group,
hilarious.
we had maybe 50 people with us. We had a lot of people on this trip.
Yeah.
And we were going through the Tube in London. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's similar to New York and how there's the
metro.
Metro, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's these underground buses. And so we were getting on one of the buses. Trains. Not buses, it's trains. Underground trains, and we were getting on one of them, and everybody goes on, and all of our teachers go on, and then me and my friend Izzy were the last ones, and they were telling us to go on, but there was no room, and we couldn't fit, and so we just stayed, because I didn't want to get squished in between like my teacher and the door of a train, and so we stayed, and they were freaking out. We almost wanted to go and leave and go shopping again in London.
Yeah.
But we decided we would have gotten in a lot of trouble. And we didn't want to get shipped back to America.
Yeah.
So we waited for the next train, took a couple minutes, and then we got back on and we went, and our teacher was furious. I was like, okay, whatever, it's not our fault. But that was definitely fun. There's so many memories.
I remember that. That was so funny. And now that I'm thinking about it, remember that time when we met Troy Sivan?
Oh yeah, we met Troy Sivan. That was cool. Yeah, we were eating. Insane. It was our last. It was like one of our last meals.
Yeah.
One of the last days of the trip. And we went to this fancy restaurant. And
it took us like
late. It took us like an hour to get there.
Over an hour to get there. It was we were I remember all of us on the way there, like all of our friends.
Everybody was so grumpy.
They were so
hungry.
mad.
We were all freaking out.
We were like, what's the point? Like, why are we going this all this way?
Like,
it's
why
so
are we
not
going to
worth
this restaurant? And it was just supposed to be the fanciest restaurant that we went to, and really good food. And so we got there, and it was great food. It was like Chinese food or something like that.
Vietnamese.
Yeah,
I think it was Vietnamese.
Yeah, something like that. But it was like really good food. And then out of nowhere, the girls start freaking out. And I had no idea. 1,000 thoughts were going through my mind. I was thinking something happened back home, and they got a text message that was bad. They were crying and they were freaking out. I was like, what is going on? And
Full-fledged.
And then we thought Harry Styles walked in, because Harry Styles was in London at the time. He was going to be singing. I think he was singing the night before in one of the squares or whatever. Yeah. And so we thought Harry Styles walked in. Yeah. But it wasn't Harry Styles. It was Troy Sivan.
That was insane.
It was crazy.
That was the funniest, most like coincidental
so funny
run-in ever.
And honestly, I didn't know who he was at first. I mean, I know some of his music.
I knew of him, yeah.
Yeah, I knew, once they told me what songs he did and what music was his, I understood who he was and I knew him. But at first, I was like, Troy Sivan, I don't know who that is. But we took a picture with him. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was so funny. I remember that. So that was really good. That was super fun.
That was really fun. Also, Sam and I went to San Francisco before our trip to Ireland. Yeah. And we went to this nice restaurant as well.
Yeah. We went to this Indian restaurant in San Francisco. I think it's called the Indian Clay Oven. If you ever want to check it out, it's so good. I highly recommend it. It's never really that crowded, and it's got some great food. I mean, if you're really interested in more cultural and ethnic food, like Indian food or something like that, I totally recommend it.
Yeah, it was good. I don't usually eat ethnic foods like that. I mean, I eat Spanish and Mexican foods because that's my heritage, but I don't usually eat foods of that nature, so I enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, and I remember we got this dish, and it was like a like a lentil, like sort of like a chip. It got turned into a chip, and they had these two sauces that came out. One of them was like a sweet, like sticky, like syrupy paste almost.
Yeah.
And then one of them was like this green salsa.
Green sauce.
And you could tell it was like a green sauce. And
it was clearly green.
And
it was like as green as
it was
Sam's jacket.
It was my
his
shirt. It was
it was like
shirt's
his shirt green.
And I remember Patrick picking it up, and he dips up he takes a piece of the chip, and he goes to try the sauce. He goes, "Man, I'm so glad that they brought some guacamole." And it was like a salsa verde, like type of salsa, and he thought.
And I tasted it, and it was terrible. I was like, "That is not guacamole."
He thought it was guacamole.
I was like, "You passed the guacamole." And they were just laughing at me. I was like, "Why are they laughing at me? I don't know. Their family's weird."
He really thought that Indian food had guacamole.
I didn't know. Like, I don't eat Indian food, so I wasn't really sure about the culture. And
you live and you learn. But yeah, that place was so nice. It was super fancy.
Yeah, it was like roses on the table and these white tablecloths.
Yeah,
and it was very romantic.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of romance, Patrick, I mean, do you want to discuss what you guys want to start talking about relationships?
Sure. Yeah, we're gonna talk about romantic relationships.
Yeah.
So, romantic relationships.
And just remember, these are only our opinions. We're
just talking about
facts.
Exactly, for sure. We're just having a conversation about what we think. So yeah, I mean, romantic relationships. I've had a couple of romantic relationships. Sam has some.
Not as many.
Some relationships. I think romantic relationships.
Okay.
Romantic relationships in high school can be very difficult.
Yeah.
You know, you're learning a lot about yourself in high school. You know, from the years from freshman year to senior year, you learn so much about yourself and you grow so much as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So depending where you are in high school, or even if you're past high school, you know, you're probably still learning about yourself to this day. Romantic relationships can be hard in high school for that reason. You know, people don't necessarily know who they are. A lot of people do not understand their identity, and they're searching for that. And so it can be hard to date somebody because, you know, they don't really understand, you know, what they want in a relationship. A lot of us haven't had relationships in the past, so we don't know what to look for in a relationship. And so, you know, I think there's very important things to look for in a relationship. You know, not only just romantic relationships, but also family relationships and friendships. You know, communication is so important.
Yeah.
That's something that I've learned a lot over the last couple years. You know, my family is terrible at communication, like literally the worst. I can't explain how bad my family is at communication, and it makes me very bad at communication. I'm not trying to blame them for that, but it is just honestly rubbed off on me. And my parents get mad at me when I don't communicate, or my parents don't really get mad. My grandmother gets mad when I don't communicate with her as much.
Yeah.
She's funny. But yeah, I mean, my family gets mad when we don't communicate with each other, but you know, it's difficult because that's what I was raised with. You know, I wasn't taught the best communication. And so communication is very important in relationships. That's something that I'm learning and something that I'm trying to understand and figure out. And it is difficult.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think nobody can read another person's mind. And so I guess the best way to be clear with what you're thinking and express yourself to somebody else, I mean, who you're in a relationship with, either it's like a friendship or a romantic relationship or anything like that, is just to tell them what's on your mind, like
For
talk
sure,
to them.
Be honest with people.
Yeah,
nobody wants to see fake.
Yeah,
you know, it's especially, you know, in romantic relationships, even if you're just getting to know somebody and just starting to talk to somebody, you know, you don't want to lead somebody on and make them think that, you know, you are going to date or, you know, something's happening when it's not. You know, that's a terrible thing, and you're wasting that person's time, and you're also wasting your own time. It's like, don't try to hide how you feel towards somebody. You know, be honest with them. You know, if you don't think that you want to date this person, don't date them, and tell them, you know, they shouldn't get upset about that. You know, there's millions and billions of people in the world. You know, the chances are that you're going to date or even marry this one person. It's like winning the lottery. Like it's crazy, you know. So try to be honest with people. That's something that I've learned. in past relationships and in current friendships and relationships, just transparency is really important.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think especially in a thing like a romantic relationship, like you said, the probability of sticking is of course slim. I mean,
Very slim.
Of course it can happen. I know a lot of adults in my life that are like high school sweethearts and stuff like that, and I think that's great.
Possible.
But yeah, I think just being transparent about it, being and I guess like yeah, like you said, like not going for somebody that that you're not as interested in. And like don't waste their time, don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Go for somebody who really makes you happy about it, who makes you excited, like you want to go and see them, and you want to go and like just be with them like all the time, instead of like just being like, I mean, I don't know, I could hang out with that person today. Like even with friendships or with family, like I could hang out with that person today, or I could do this. Like if you want to do it, then that's like the relationship that you should strive for and go for, I think.
Yeah, and self-awareness is so important in this, knowing who you are and knowing what you look for in a friendship and a relationship, having, boundaries and things that you look for, I think that in a relationship, in a romantic relationship especially, you should be looking for somebody who has similar priorities as you. Perhaps you love to work out, maybe find somebody who loves to work out as well, and that will motivate you to do that. Find somebody who, not necessarily, people don't necessarily need to share the same interests as you. I think, they say opposites attract. Perhaps that's true, perhaps it's not. But definitely finding somebody who has similar priorities to you is really important, because if you're totally opposite from somebody and your goals in life are totally different, even if they're slightly off, you guys are going to be going at completely, you're going to end up going in completely different directions. And I've seen this happen before. My older brother, he had a relationship and he dated this girl from sophomore year of high school until he was 25. So they dated for about 10 years, and they just recently broke up because their priorities in life were different.
Shift, yeah.
And so it is really important to know what your priorities are and to try to see that in others. And again, being transparent and not trying to waste somebody else's time, saying like, if you're going to want to date me, if you think that this could work out, here's what my goals are in life, here's what my priorities are. And if that doesn't fit with your life, then, it can't happen. So I think just being honest with yourself, we have infatuation with, people as high schoolers. We want to date people. Obviously, we want to be in a relationship, but we have to be honest with each other and not just look at the surface level, thinking, oh, I like this person because, they're funny or they're cute, whatever. Looking deeper, looking into their personality and saying, could I really see myself with this person long term? That's really important, in understanding what you want in a relationship and seeing if that will work with that person.
Yeah. And then kind of, I think you talked about this like a little bit, is change. I think that people always change. I mean, from when you're a kid to when you're a teenager to when you're an adult, you always have to adapt and change your lifestyle, and your personality changes with that too a little bit, I think. I mean,
oh, for sure.
I think like, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you've been in it for a couple of years, I mean, if you're in it from the beginning of high school and then you start going to college, I mean, you may be going separate ways for college and stuff like that, and then that might make it rough. So I think that just like being able to accept changes in your life, whether it's like physical boundaries, like distance and things like that, or whether it's mental, maybe somebody was interested in something that you were interested in, and that was like a main factor of keeping you together, and then they kind of dispatched from that. I think that that's another thing that you kind of have to accept, is that sometimes people change for better or for worse, and you kind of have to accept that and realize that that's like a part of the cycle.
Yeah, and I like what you said, that you have to accept that you can't force people to be in your life. You can't force people to want to be your friend. You can't force people to want to date you, or whatever. You can't force people to want to be around you.
Yeah.
So you have to accept that, and again, with self-awareness, understand and, not get upset at that person. If somebody doesn't want to be around you, if somebody doesn't want to spend time with you or be in a relationship with you or be your friend, okay, get over it, move on. That person shouldn't be in your life.
They didn't deserve to be a part of your relationship anyways.
maybe they're trying to be nice and they don't want to waste your time because they don't see a potential for a friendship or a relationship. It can be hard sometimes, if you really like a person romantically and you think that you can be in a relationship and they just don't want anything to do with it. That can be hard. That can definitely be really difficult.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to be grateful if they're being honest with you and saying, I just can't see this working, because you'd rather have it end there and your heart not be as broken than, you date for a year and then they end it because they don't want to keep dating you, So it's, you have to take the good with the bad and understand that, sometimes people just aren't meant for each other in a relationship, and personalities just don't work together, and it is how it is. That's how it goes,
Yeah, I think breaking apart from a relationship, family or friendships or romantic relationships, will always be hard. But I guess you have to think of it as, even though you do break apart, everything happens for a reason.
Exactly.
And I think that there was a purpose given to that separation between the two people. Whether it's like if you break up with somebody who you were in like a romantic relationship with, it'll be tough for like a while, but you just eventually have to realize that like that happened for a reason, and that just means that like there's like another person out there for you that like that you're meant to be with.
100%. I couldn't agree with that more. I'm such a firm believer in the idea that everything does happen for a reason. You may not see it now, but you have to try to keep everything in perspective. And perspective and mindset in life is one of my top priorities, because, you can either go through life with a negative mindset, viewing things that happen to you as, bad luck or bad fortune or whatever, or you can go with a good, positive mindset and think, okay, this happened to me. Mm-hmm. Why did it happen? How can I learn and grow from it? Rather than dwelling on things that happen to you that are negative, learn and grow from them. Everything happens for a reason. You may not see it now, but I promise you, at some point you will see it. You will understand why it happened. There are things in my life that have happened to me, and looking back on it, at the time I was very upset, thinking, why did this happen? And looking back, I totally understand, and it did happen for a reason. And so I definitely encourage you all to try to keep perspective in your life and try to understand that no matter what you're going through, you can always learn from it. You can always grow. That's one of the most important things to understand, that, taking the silver lining from everything, not just taking the bad, but taking the good with everything.
Yeah. Think happy thoughts. Think about the positive, not so much about the negative. I think that's a good takeaway.
Yeah, that's good. I enjoy that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all the time that we have for today. So thank you guys so much for tuning in again for another Bullet Point podcast. I'm Sam.
And I'm Patrick. And if you have listened all the way through, we really appreciate your support. We would love for you to like this video if you're watching on YouTube, or subscribe, or if you're on Spotify, we would love for you to continue to watch our videos, save this podcast. We really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Have a great rest of your day.
See you guys later.